cursors and some program, one small program we discussed on cursor, how to fetching a single row from your cursor memory. Okay, so that we checked out in the last session. But what we said in the last class, suppose when you want to fetch multiple rows, then how we can go to fetching. Okay, na? So that is what we said. Okay, how to fetching multiple rows from your cursor. Okay, so in that case, we need to use a looping statements we should require here to whenever you want to go for multiple rows purpose. Okay, right. And now let me see that examples how the loopings I can use on multiple row fetching purpose. Let us somehow. So write a cursor program to fetch multiple rows. Fetch multiple rows from EMP table, right? Now, so here three loopings we have it, guys. So first of all, one by one looping. Okay, first looping is called a simple loop. Simple loop. Okay, and the second one we called as here. The second one we called as here by using while loop. So there are three statements we have. While loop. And the third one we have it here. The third one we have it here by using for loop. So these are the looping statements on cursor, how it was working. So I will show you. So on one example on each looping, how it was working. And based on that, we can go to get some idea how these loopings are working. Okay, right. And before that, I already, this document I already shared to you. Okay, so your control statements are, okay. The document already you have it, I think so. Okay, right. So in this, we have the last, okay, loopings are there. So simple and while and for. Okay, right. So simple loop, we call as, guys, it is an infinity loop we set. And if we want to break a simple loop, then we should use the exit statement. Okay, I already explained to you. So simple loop is an infinity. That means once whatever the logic you return under simple loop, that will be executing infinity times. That will be executing infinity times. Okay, right. So the syntax is what, sir? Means simple loop, and write your statements and end your loop. So ending loop means closing brackets, open bracket, closing bracket. Okay, now, right. Let you come out, guys, here. So this is our the working table EMP. So now let me see. I'm writing first. I'm using simple loop. I'm using. So first of all, we all of you know explicit cursor memory. How to create it means we have here 4 steps. We have those 4 steps as usual. You just follow. So first one, declared cursor C1. Declare cursor C1 is now I'm writing a select ename comma tag from EMP table as usual. After that, how many columns you selected in the query, that many variables have to declare. Suppose I'm declaring here v underscore ename one variable. So this is varchar type, and v underscore salary. This is what now number. Okay, fine. After that, I need to begin and now open C1. So what I said yesterday, whenever you want to open your cursor connectivity, what it was happening, guys, here I said, okay, immediately this query is executed. And whatever the query columns you return, those columns data retrieving from the database memory, storing under cursor memory. Okay, now, right? That already we knows that. So after data successfully moved, okay, after data successfully moving into cursor memory, then you can observe. Now I started loop. Simple loop I started. So simple loop, under loop, I'm writing fetch statement. So because I want to fetch my data one by one. So C1, take it from C1 and storing under variables. So which variables I have to store that the data, taking data and storing under variables. Okay, fine. But here I said simple loop is a infinity loop. Suppose if you are not using exit statement, then your loop will be continuous. Okay, so your system will be running your system. There is no stoppable right now. So that's why here I need to write here exit. But here the point is what now? When I need to exit from my loop, when I want to exit from my loop means that I want to exit when C1 memory in cursor memory, if data not found already, not found attribute already exists. Okay, na? So when data is not found in C1 memory, then not found attribute written true. Yes or no? Your not found attribute written true. So when not found attribute written true, then immediately exit statement is executed and exit from your loop. Okay, na? Exit from your loop. Suppose your data is found, for example, in your cursor memory, if data is found means what happened? Not found attribute returns false. Not found attribute return false. If it is written false, then you can't exit now. So you can't exit, but that data have to display dbms underscore output dot put underscore line of v underscore ename concatenating comma concatenating v underscore salary. V underscore salary. And after that, what it was happen? So close your loop, close your loop, close your connection, and end your begin statement and execute now. So all multiple rows are we are fetching from your cursor memory. Okay, na? Right. So now this is what a loop, but how it was working, let you see. Let you see. Observe carefully, one by one step, I will explain to you. So we already know your data is having in the database memo. See, one explanation, if you understand, every program is same explanations. Okay, now? So that's the first time explanation clearly observed. So this is your table, guys. Okay, now? Right. This is your table. Fine. Okay, now? So now in the first part, what it was happen, I said, okay, your memory is created. Okay, this is declaration of your cursor variable. So on the variable, it was memory. Some memory is going to be created. This is your cursor memory. My memory name is what now? C1. Okay. After that variable declarations. Carefully observe. There are two variables I declared. One is v underscore ename. One is v underscore salary. So these are two. But we all of you know, whenever you want to declare variable, yeah, of course, some memory is allocating for this variable for storing values purpose. Okay. After that, begin. Now open C1. So I'm just open my connectivity here. So I open. So when you open, what I said, this query is executed. I said now, whenever you want to open your cursor connectivity, if you open, then immediately this query is executed. This query is executed, and whatever you asked here in the query, whatever you written, that columns data, it was moving into cursor memory. So now this is your database moving into cursor memory. So which columns here? How many columns? Two columns. Which columns I'm asking here? Okay, one is ename column and salary column. So ename column and salary column, these are the two. But how many employees are there? There are 14 employees now. So 14 employees, I'm writing one. So their salary. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so now I'm taking here. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 employees name I want to, okay, 14 employees name and their salaries. Their salaries also come and store under cursor. Okay, right. Now after data loading or moving under cursor, then loop is started, guys. Loop is started. And fetch, loop is started. Under loop, I'm writing fetch statement. So fetch C1. So fetch started from first row. Fetch is started from first row. So this is my first row. First row, employee name. First row, employee salary. So I'm fetching from C1 and those first row employee name and salary, I'm storing into variables. Storing into variables. And now storing into variables. So what is the first employee name here? Smith. Salary how much? 800. Okay, na? It was storing. After storing, fetching and storing, now it will come to your exit statement. Exit statement, what I'm telling you, C1 percentile not found. But tell me, guys, here, your data is found or not found? Tell me, guys, your data is found or not found? Yeah, your data is found now. Found means you are not found attribute. You are not found attribute. Returns what now, guys? Here false. Returns what now? False. So false means your loop is not exit. So loop is not exit means where it will come here, DBMS print statement. Now your values are printed. What is your value? Okay, variable values are printed. So e name Smith printed na? Yes or no, guys? And salary 800 printed na? Yes. So first row successfully printed on the screen. First row successfully printing on the screen. So once it was printed, carefully observe. Once it was printed, then what happened? This variable memory was refreshed here again. This variable memory, what happened here? Refreshed again. Okay, refresh. And now see, second one after printing is over now. So after printing is over, next it will go to which statement here? Now see, blue color. Next it will go to fetch statement again. Which statement again? Fetch statement. Again, fetch statement. So fetch statement is what is your next record? 2. Second row is fetching. Second row is fetching. As usual, second row employee name storing under variable, salary storing under variable. Again, coming to exit statement. Exit statement not found, but your data is found. So again, condition is false. Again, is condition is false means it doesn't go to exit, it was going to be printing. Then second row is printed. Second row is printed. Okay, now understanding the second row is printed. Like this, okay, third row, fourth row, fifth row, sixth row, seventh row, eighth row, ninth row, 10th row, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So 14 rows are printed. Okay, 14 rows are printed. After printed, next it will go to where now, fetch statement. So after 14, next row is there, guys, here? Not there. Not there means, can I say data not found now? Data not found. So data not found. So data not found. Data not found means it come to this exit statement. Come to this exit statement. So C1 percentile not found. Says data is not found. So it returns true. It returns true. Understanding now? So true. And now when true, then where it will go? It will be exit. This exit statement is executed now because condition is true. Exit and your loop is out. Your loop is out and your 14 employees data successfully be printed. Okay, so this is internal execution of a simple loop. Okay, right. This is how this simple loop is working, guys. how this simple loop is working. So this is an example of your simple loop statement, how to use in cursors to fetching multiple rows data. To fetching multiple rows data. Okay, now? Right. And what is next? Next one is what now, guys? Here, while loop. Next one is what now? While loop. Okay. So while loop, again, while loop, how the syntax of while loop first observe. The syntax of while loop, come out and see. Come out and see. So while condition, then enter into loop, execute your statements, either increment or decrement, and close your loop. Okay. So, but here very important point is what? While condition, while loop, when it is executed, sir, means when your condition is true. When your while condition is true, then only your while loop logic is executed. So until unless while condition is true, then that loop will be executed. So whenever your while condition is false, then only your loop will be stopped. Okay, now? Right. This is the point. Now we can see how this while loop I can use. Okay, let you come out. Let you come out. So up to here, I have to take the same thing. Okay, up to here, I have to take same thing. Up to open. Okay, so there is no difference here. So same thing I will take it. After open, here directly I'm writing check. So C1, okay, from C1 memory and storing into variables. Storing into variables. So v underscore name, comma, v underscore value. Okay. So already fetching C1 means, okay, so we already know. So cursor, memory allocation, variable allocation. Once you open, select the statement executed, data move into cursor memory. After moving to cursor memory, now we are fetching from C1. Fetching from C1 means first row. First row employee is what now? Smith. So Smith and 800 fetching for C1, storing into variables, right? After that, now have to see while condition. Here, what I want to write here, while C1 means memory, my cursor memory. C1 percentile found. Your found attribute. So found attribute, what it was telling guys here, found attribute is written. When it returns, guys, I said, when your data is found in your cursor memory, your data is found in your cursor memory. So then it returns true. If data is not found in your cursor memory, then it returns false. Understanding now? Right. So this is what we call as guys. So, okay. Now C1 percentile found. Now tell me, data is found in my cursor. Come on, guys. Data is found or not? So data is found. So data is found. This is assume. This is my cursor. This is my cursor. Assume. Okay. Data is found. So data is found. Found means this attribute returns true. This attribute returns true. Right? True. True means immediately enter in loop. True means immediately printing that variable values. Output dot put underscore line of v underscore ename concatenating comma concatenating v underscore sat. Okay. So now what happened up to here? Up to here, first row successfully we printed. Up to here, first row successfully printed. But in my table, we have a multiple rows, right? We have a multiple rows, right? Now, so first row is printed. Now, second row I have to fetch now. I have to fetch a second row. For second row, I want to fetch third row, fourth row, fifth row. Like I want to continue my fetching. So whenever you want to continue your fetching, then we have to use one more statement under loop. See, one fetch statement out of the loop I'm using. This is starting record, starting row, only fetching. That means out of the loop, fetch statement is one time execution. And that is first time executed, first row data taken, that's it. But a loop, under loop, whatever I'm using statement, okay, into v underscore e name comma v underscore salary. This is how many times executing means this is a remaining, okay, remaining 13 times executed, remaining 13 times. And this one is one time. So that means this is first row, remaining 13. So 1 plus 13, total how many rows, guys? Total how many rows? Yes, 14 rows are fetching. Okay, now. So under while loop, whatever the fetch statement I return, this is remaining 13 times execute. Each time one row is taken. So like this 13 times. Okay, now understand now? Now 13 times it will be executed. How it is executed? Same. Okay, same. Now, okay, up to first record is successfully displayed. Now this fetch statement is executed. This fetch statement is executed. Executed means second row fetching and storing under variable. So second row fetching and storing under variable. Second row data fetching from cursor, storing under variables. Okay. After storing under variable, again it will comes to while condition. While condition is checking. While condition checking. Tell me, guys. While condition checking means now data is found or not found? Come on, guys. Second row is found or not found? Found. Found means this condition true. This condition written true. True means what happened? Again enter into loop, again printed. So now second row is printed. Next one is what now? Next will be executing fetch statement next. Next fetch statement execute. Fetch statement now it was taking third row data. Third row data taking and storing into variables. Again, these variables conditions are again come back to your while and checking condition. Come back to while and checking condition. So again, data is found now. Found means again enter into loop now. So loop and printed. So third row is printed. Okay, like fourth row, fifth row, sixth row, seventh row, eighth row, ninth row, 11th, 12th, 13, and 14. Okay, 14 also printed. After 14 printed and come back to fetch, what it was happened? 15th row not there. 15th row not there means here what happened? Data is not found. Data is not found. So when it was going to while loop condition, okay, the next 15th row purpose, if you go to while loop condition, but your data is not found, then found attribute returns what, guys? Here, when data is not found means found attribute returns what? False. It returns what, guys? False. It returns false. So false means what happened? This loop is not executed, then you are out of the loop because found attribute returns false. Okay, so that is happening. That is what it was happening now. And finally, end your loop. Finally, close your C1. Finally, end your begin statement. So now your 14 employees data successfully we got it. This is while loop condition working nature. This is while loop condition working nature. Okay, now, right. So this is what it was going to be happening while loop. Now, next one is what now? For loop. So how to use for loop here? And before that, first you have to go for check your condition now. Okay, so for loop is what it was saying. Careful observe. By default, for loop is incremented by 1. By default, for loop is incremented by 1. That is the default. I don't want to do anything. And now syntax is what? For your variable name in predefined starting value dot ending value. So starting to ending value one by one printed along with increment. So that loop is printed. Okay, after end of the value is reached, you reach your end of the value, then your loop will be stopped. Okay, Right? Simple. This is very simple. But for loop, whenever I want to use for loop, guys, here, what is the advantage here? Observe. First, as usual, you have to declare your cursor memory. This is first one. Only declaration. After that, there is no variables declaration not necessary. There is no open statement not necessary. Okay, so just directly I'm writing my for loop. What is the for I? I is the variable in and starting to ending. But now tell me, guys, your starting to ending means in my table, how many rows are there? In my table, how many rows are there? 14 rows. 14 rows, where it is? In which memory? Cursor memory. Cursor memory means, can I say here, C1, can I mention, guys, here? Can I mention C1, guys? Can I mention C1? Yes. C1 means what? C1 means what? First row, dot, 14th row. Yes or no? C1 means a first row, dot, 14th. Starting row value, ending value. Satisfied now? Come on, guys. Satisfied now? Starting row number, ending row number. Yes. Starting first row, ending 14th row. Okay. Now, this is the mean of C1. Okay. Right. After that, loop. Simple, very simple. DBMS underscore output dot put underscore line of here I variable na I dot e name concatenate comma concatenate I dot sand. So which columns you want to display, that columns you can pass. And after end loop, okay, after end my begin statement, but there is no closing, there is no fetching. Okay, right. For loop, in for loop, what happens, sir? Sir, in for loop, we are not using open cursor statement, fetching cursor statement, closing cursor statements. So these three statements we are not using, sir, because the reason is what now, guys, here? Yes. When we use for loop, explicit means user defined. When you use for loop, user is not necessary to use and to write the open cursor statement, the fetch statement, and close statements are explicitly user no need to define. No need to define, because the reason is what now? This open, fetch, and close. These three operationals and the three activities automatically your Oracle server will done whenever we are using for. Okay, whenever we are using for. Okay, now. So this is what we can say, guys. Okay, now. So in your cursor memory, how many rows are there? That all rows are one by one it was taken. Okay, now. But here there is no open, no fetch, and no what we can say close, because of reason those things are internally your server will take the responsibility, and implicitly automatically your system will take the response. That's why for loop, whenever you want to use, don't use open, fetch, and close. If you try to use now, showing error. Okay, but how it is working, sir? How it is working, sir, means, yes, we can see how it is working, sir, means, yeah. So here, C1 means what I said, guys, here, C1 means one first row, dot, 14th row. That is C1 means 1 to 14 rows are there in the memory. And very important is what now? In your cursor memory, how many rows are there? That all rows are fetching. Understanding now? So now, okay. Now your for loop is started. Okay, for loop is started. When for loop execution is started, what happened? Your query will executed, and this data is storing under C1 memory. So after storing under C1 memory, 1 to 14 rows, then I. Okay, so first row is fetching. First row means here what now? Row number 1. First row means row number 1. So this is fetching, and this fetching of first row number that number storing under I variable. The first row 1 is storing under I variable. So 1 is storing under I variable, and that I variable is going to be printing. So first row employee name is what? Smith and 800s. I dot e name Smith I dot salary. So first row employee name, first row employee salary. After printing first row, after successfully printing first row, what I said, for loop automatically incremented by 1 automatically. So already first row is displayed. Yes or no? Then what happened? Plus 1 increment. Plus 1 increment means 1 plus 1. What is happening, guys? Here 2. 1 plus 1. What it does happen? 2. That means second row. Second row 2. Second row information storing under I variable. And that I printing on the screen. Second row printed. Next, 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1. How much here, guys? 3. 2 plus 1, 3. Then this 3 row number is going to be storing under I variable. Then I is printed, like third record is printed. Like a 3 plus 1 increment by default 1, 3 plus 1 increment is how much, guys? Here 4. Then this fourth row ID index value storing under I variable, that is printed. Fourth one is printed. Then 4 plus 1, 5. So 5 plus 1, 6. Like this. Lastly, 13 plus 1. Lastly, 13 plus 1, 14th. So 14th row index number is storing under I variable, and that 14th row information is displayed. Now displayed. After 14, what happened? 14 plus 1. 14 plus 1, what it was happen, guys? Here 15. But tell me, 15th row is there? 15th row is there in my table? No, is not there in the table. Not there means what? Not data not found. Data not found means your I is not executed. It stop and end to your loop. So 14 employees data successfully be printed. Okay, so in this, what is the new thing, sir, means? This thing is only one thing, that is called as a, so no open statement, no fetch statement, no closing statement. Automatically it will be open, fetching one by one row, storing under I variable, and that I variable printed. Again, increment by default 1. So see, your advantage, see, increment also I don't want to give. Automatically incremented. 1 plus 1, 2, second row. Second row, ID number storing into your I, that will be printed. 2 plus 1, 3. 3 plus 1, 4. Automatically incremented. So that's why in the point only I was given. What I was given? For loop by default, it is incremented by 1. By default, it is incremented by 1. So that is what automatically it will be taken out. And this variable is also direct declaration. We don't want to declare. See, I'm not declaring any additionally. So direct declaration, that is. Int is a type of declaration directly. Okay, na? Right. So this is the 3 looping statements, guys. You can use. Okay, when you have to go for multiple rows. Whenever you want to fetch multiple rows from your cursor memory, compulsory there we required a looping statements. So in this 3 loopings, any one loop you can use as per your wish. There is nothing problem. Okay, na? So which loop will be flexible to you, easy to understanding, that you have to use it. Okay, so this is the way the 3 looping statements, how it was going to be work. Okay, now right. In the next one is, in these all examples, guys, here observe what we did here means just we are declaring a normal cursor variable is declared. A normal cursor variable is declared, right? So now in the declaration of cursor name, that's it. Here also in this program also cursor variable name, and here also in this name also we are declaring cursor variable name. Okay, now so now what it was happening, guys, here? So here only we are declaring cursors. Here only we are declaring cursors. Okay, but we are not passing any parameter along with cursors. We are not passing along any parameter along with cursor, right? Only cursor declaration. Suppose if I want to pass parameters along with my cursor, then the type of parameter is called as a, what we call parameterized cursor. Okay, parameterized cursor. What it means? Simple. When we pass parameters, okay, to cursor cursor variable to cursor variable, okay, at the time of at the time of at the time of declaration at the time of declaration, which declaration? Cursor declaration. At the time of cursor declaration, okay, is called as parameterized. It's called as parameterized cursor. Okay, na? It's called as a parameterized cursor. So, but if I want to go for parameterized cursors, how we can define? So there are syntax to observe. Simple syntax. Okay, same, everything is same. Okay, step one in the syntax, step one. So I have to declare. Okay, now declare. So declared cursor, and here I have to give my cursor name of. Okay, now we can send parameters. Parameter name one and data type. But here size is not necessary because by default automatically your size will take it. Okay, size don't mention at the time of parameter declaration. Okay, because by default your system will take size. Okay, right. Parameter now each and same here you can write your selector query. Same thing, but what I'm doing in this, just I'm passing parameters along with my cursor variable, then it is called as a parameterized cursor. Okay, this is first step. Step number two, what you want to do in the second number two, so open. Okay, so you have to send your cursor name. Okay, you have to send your cursor name, and here you can send parameter. So parameter name, otherwise you can send directly value, you can send directly. Okay. So this is second step. These are the two steps only, little bit difference. Okay, when you're passing parameters along with cursor. Understanding now? And remaining fetching statement and next closing statement. That was same as this. Okay. So this is the definition of a parameterized cursors. Okay, right. And program, how to write a program on this. Okay, I will show you tomorrow. And one more very important thing is what, guys, here. So PLSQL is not like a SQL language, because SQL language, simple queries, simple logics, where condition, group by, subquery. This is only the thing. So maybe SQL will be easy for you, but PLSQL is completely programming knowledge. So that's why every day, the day wise, your programs will be practicing. Otherwise, after getting your after topic is completed, immediately one special day you have to keep and practice every program. Then only you can easily understand. Only listening and only listening means programs are not easy. Maybe queries are very easy to understand because that is a simple SQL language. Only queries we use. But here it's a completely procedural language. So every concept will be like this, having a programs, logics. Okay, we are writing. Okay, so that's why this is not that much easy. So please practice it. If you're doing practicing, then it will be easy for you. Without practice, so like it is how you are practicing C programs, Java programs, .NET programs, how you are practicing Python programs, same PLSQL also you have to practice like this. Then only you can understand. Without practicing, how much I was explaining, you will be having some confusion. So that's why your own you have to write, and your own you have to see your output, how it was showing output, which manner, the logic understanding, if any everything analysis now, then you can understand. Okay, so that is I'm telling to guys here. That is not only you, every batch I'm telling like this, because this is completely programming knowledge. Okay, now, right, guys. And tomorrow we will go for the next okay, what we can say example on this parameterized cursor, right? Okay, yes. Thank you so much.